Hello, I'm Treasure of, and welcome. There's something truly special about the aroma of freshly baked bread filling the kitchen, isn't there? It's a simple pleasure, a comforting ritual. For years, I've found immense joy in the art of baking, especially sourdough. Its tangy flavor and beautiful rustic crust are simply unparalleled. But as more of us become mindful of our dietary needs, a persistent question has emerged. Is sourdough bread gluten-free? It's a topic surrounded by a great deal of misinformation, and today we're going to sift through the facts together. There's a prevailing belief that the long fermentation process of sourdough magically eliminates gluten, making it a safe choice for everyone. It's an appealing idea, certainly, but is it grounded in science? We often hear anecdotes about people with gluten sensitivities who find they can enjoy sourdough without issue. This has led to a widespread myth that all sourdough is a gluten-free wonder. But the truth, as is often the case in the culinary world, is far more nuanced and requires a closer look at the ingredients and the beautiful, complex process of fermentation itself. Today, we will explore this topic with the precision and care it deserves. We'll consult with experts, examine the science behind fermentation, and clarify what gluten-free truly means in the context of this beloved bread. My goal is to provide you with clear, reliable information so you can make the best choices for your health and continue to enjoy the good things in life, like a perfect slice of bread. So, let's get our aprons on, metaphorically speaking, and dive into the world of sourdough and gluten. It's a good thing. Let's begin by establishing a fundamental truth. Traditional sourdough bread, the kind that has graced tables for centuries, is made from flour that contains gluten. The most common flours used are wheat, rye, or barley, all of which are primary sources of this protein. Gluten is what gives bread its wonderful elasticity and chewy texture. It's the very framework that allows the dough to rise and hold its shape. Without it, creating that classic sourdough structure is a significant challenge. So when you see a beautiful, airy sourdough loaf, it's the gluten that has done much of the heavy lifting. The idea that fermentation neutralizes gluten is a piece of folklore, a misunderstanding of a very complex biological process. While the wild yeasts and beneficial bacteria in a sourdough starter do break down some of the carbohydrates and proteins in the flour, they do not eliminate the gluten entirely. Think of it as pre-digestion. The fermentation process makes the bread easier for our bodies to digest, but the gluten proteins, while altered, are still very much present. For someone with celiac disease, even this reduced amount is not safe. It's a critical distinction that can be easily overlooked. So where does this leave us? It means that a sourdough loaf made from traditional wheat, rye, or barley flour is not and cannot be considered gluten-free. The fermentation might reduce the gluten content slightly, but not nearly enough to be safe for individuals with celiac disease or a significant non-celiac gluten sensitivity. The only way to create a sourdough bread that is truly, unequivocally gluten-free is to start with ingredients that are gluten-free from the very beginning. This is not a matter of opinion, but a matter of food science and safety. Understanding this is the first and most important step. It allows us to appreciate traditional sourdough for what it is, a delicious fermented grain bread, while also recognizing its limitations for those who must avoid gluten. It's about being an informed baker and an informed consumer. We must separate the romantic notions from the scientific facts to ensure everyone can enjoy bread safely. The beauty of baking is in the details, and this is a detail of the utmost importance. It's about clarity and doing things the right way. Now, while traditional sourdough is not gluten-free, the fermentation process does impart some remarkable and beneficial qualities. This is where the truth behind the anecdotes lies. The long, slow fermentation, which can last anywhere from 12 to 48 hours or even longer, allows the lactobacilli bacteria in the starter to work their magic. These microorganisms begin to break down the complex carbohydrates, or starches, in the flour. This predigestion means that when you eat the bread, your own digestive system has less work to do, which is why many people find sourdough easier on the stomach than commercially yeasted breads. Another significant benefit concerns what are known as FODMAPs, fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. These are short-chain carbohydrates that can be difficult for some people to digest, often causing bloating and discomfort, particularly for those with irritable bowel syndrome. The extended fermentation of sourdough has been shown to substantially reduce the FODMAP content in the bread. This is a key reason why some individuals with non-celiac gluten sensitivity, who may actually be sensitive to FODMAPs, report that they can tolerate sourdough without the digestive distress they experience from other wheat products. Furthermore, the fermentation process helps to lower the bread's glycemic index. This means that sourdough bread releases its sugars into the bloodstream more slowly and steadily compared to other breads. This results in a more stable blood sugar level, avoiding the sharp spikes and subsequent crashes that can come from consuming highly refined carbohydrates. This makes sourdough a more favorable choice for managing blood sugar levels and providing sustained energy. It's a more thoughtful way to enjoy a staple food, providing nourishment that is both satisfying and balanced. It's essential to remember, however, that these wonderful digestive benefits do not equate to the removal of gluten. The process makes the bread more digestible, it reduces certain irritants like FODMAPs, and it improves the nutritional profile by making minerals more bioavailable. But for someone whose immune system reacts to the gluten protein itself, as in celiac disease, the bread remains unsafe. These benefits and the gluten content are two separate issues. Appreciating this distinction allows us to celebrate sourdough for its unique qualities without creating false hope or spreading dangerous misinformation. In our pursuit of healthier and more wholesome foods, many of us gravitate toward organic products. It's a good practice. Choosing organic flour means you are avoiding synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, which is certainly a step toward a cleaner, more natural loaf of bread. Similarly, using heritage or ancient grains like einkorn, spelt, or kamut has become increasingly popular. These grains are often prized for their unique flavors, nutritional profiles, and the fact that their gluten structure can be different from that of modern, highly hybridized wheat. But does choosing organic or heritage grains make your sourdough gluten-free? The answer, quite simply, is no. The term organic refers to the farming methods used to grow the grain. It has absolutely no bearing on the grain's inherent gluten content. An organically grown wheat berry contains just as much gluten as a conventionally grown one. Therefore, a sourdough bread made with organic wheat flour is not gluten-free. It may be free from certain chemical residues, which is a wonderful benefit in itself, but it is not a solution for anyone who needs to avoid gluten for medical reasons. It's a common point of confusion, but the distinction is clear and important. Similarly, while heritage grains like spelt and einkorn have a different gluten composition than modern wheat, they are not gluten-free. Some people with mild sensitivities find these grains easier to digest, perhaps due to the different protein structure or lower overall gluten content compared to high-yield modern wheat. However, they absolutely still contain gluten and are dangerous for anyone with celiac disease. Relying on an ancient grain as a safe alternative is a risk that should not be taken. The only safe grains are those that are naturally, completely devoid of gluten. So, while I wholeheartedly encourage the use of high-quality, organic, and even heritage grains for those who can tolerate them, for reasons of flavor, nutrition, and supporting sustainable agriculture, we must be precise in our understanding. These choices enhance the quality of the bread, but they do not alter its fundamental gluten-containing nature. When the goal is to create a truly gluten-free sourdough, the solution lies not in how the wheat was grown, but in avoiding wheat, rye, and barley altogether. It's about selecting the right ingredients from the start. So, how does one create a magnificent sourdough bread that is genuinely safe for those with celiac disease or severe gluten sensitivities? The secret, of course, is in the ingredients. You must begin with flours that are certified gluten-free. There is a wonderful and ever-expanding array of options available today. Flours made from brown rice, buckwheat, sorghum, millet, teff, and quinoa can all be used to create beautiful and delicious gluten-free sourdough loaves. Each of these flours brings its own unique flavor, texture, and nutritional properties to the bread. Creating a gluten-free sourdough starter is the first step. This is done in much the same way as a traditional starter, by mixing a gluten-free flour, like brown rice flour, with water and allowing it to ferment, capturing the wild yeasts and bacteria from the environment. It requires patience and daily feedings, just like its wheat-based counterpart. Once you have a lively, bubbly, gluten-free starter, you can use it to leaven your dough, which will be a blend of various gluten-free flours and starches, like tapioca or potato starch, to help mimic the structure that gluten normally provides. One of the most critical aspects of making gluten-free sourdough is preventing cross-contamination. This is non-negotiable for anyone with celiac disease. Your kitchen must be a safe space. This means using dedicated gluten-free baking tools, bowls, and baking surfaces. A single crumb of wheat flour can be enough to cause a reaction. If you bake both traditional and gluten-free bread, you must be meticulously careful, thoroughly cleaning all surfaces and equipment between uses, or better yet, maintaining a completely separate set of tools for your gluten-free baking. When purchasing gluten-free sourdough from a bakery or store, diligence is key. Don't be shy about asking questions. Inquire about the exact flours they use. Ask about their process for preventing cross-contamination. Look for certifications from reputable gluten-free organizations. A trustworthy baker will be transparent and happy to provide you with this information. True gluten-free sourdough is a craft in its own right, a beautiful adaptation of an ancient technique, and ensuring its safety from grain to slice is the most important part of the process. So, we return to our initial question, is sourdough bread gluten-free? As we've learned, the answer is a qualified no. Traditional sourdough, made with wheat, rye, or barley, contains gluten, although the fermentation process can make it more digestible for some. The only truly gluten-free sourdough is that which is intentionally crafted from start to finish with certified gluten-free ingredients and prepared in an environment free from the risk of cross-contamination. Knowledge, after all, is the most important ingredient in any kitchen. For anyone living with celiac disease or a serious gluten sensitivity, this distinction is not merely academic, it is essential for your well-being. Always be your own best advocate. When you're at a bakery or a friend's home, ask about the ingredients. Check labels carefully. Understand that while a baker's intentions may be good, their understanding of gluten-free safety protocols may not be complete. Your health must always be the first priority, and taking those extra moments to verify that a food is safe is always a worthwhile endeavor. The world of baking is wonderfully inclusive, and the rise of exceptional gluten-free sourdough is a testament to that. It shows that with care, knowledge, and creativity, we can adapt beloved traditions so that everyone can partake in the simple, profound joy of breaking bread. I hope today's discussion has brought clarity and confidence to your culinary journey. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, happy and safe baking. It's a good thing.